evening, good morning. Um, Tonight, we'd like to discuss this issue of the 1 million men march being called by Blessed Bombshell Geza. I think this whole idea of the Geza revolution has galvanized the nation. And I think the most important thing to be noted there is it galvanized the nation in January when he came out and dismissed this so-called resolution number 1 designed to make sure that Mnangagwa stays in office until 2030. This so-called ED2030 idea, and he called it bullshit. That galvanized the nation because I think he was saying something that millions of Zimbabweans knew but did not dare to say. I think that is what made him so arrested that the nation's attention. And ever since, I think he has been the gadfly to Mnangagwa, ED2030. Because when he dismissed it in January as bullshit, we all know that Mnangagwa put the whole thing on the back burner and went into all expense, no expense spared campaign to woo the war veterans, party leaders, army officers at enormous expense to win their support. And he was hoping that this ZANU PF Conference on Friday, this coming Friday, will relaunch ED2030. But this announcement by Geza, it must be the most annoying thing that Mnangagwa and his supporters, the last thing they wanted is Geza again throwing the spanner in the works. To discuss this issue tonight, I've got Ben and a new visitor to the platform, Temba. Welcome, Temba.
Welcome. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear your voice. What do you think?
I was struggling with connecting.
Okay. We can hear you loud and sweet. What do you think of this bombshell
discussion? I've just I'll share a little on my it's a personal view. I'm just personally annoyed with the blatancy that has been with the leaders. The leaders are so blatant to the extent that they think money buys everything. But I believe money, there are people, there are good souls there that are not bribable. You can give them money, they'll take your money and use it, but they won't deliver your per se ambition or aspiration, whatever you can say. I think the mood generally, people, I'll talk for my age group, we are in the 40s. Obviously, we have to retire soon, but we've got nothing to say. We've got nothing to hold. Like, we don't have anything tangible. I don't want to say I don't want to blame people and say, maybe we are lazy. No, we are not lazy at all. We are actually working every day. So there is something not right in the system. There's something not right for a common person, because a good system will accommodate even the disabled. You understand? Even the disabled person should be catered for by a government. But us, we're working every day, but there is that shortfall, if I can say. So I'm saying people are not generally the mood. They don't want millions. People want the basics. People just want to educate their children up to tertiary and just get that small house, whatever. The most basic. Not everyone is looking for flamboyance. So our leaders think everyone wants flamboyance. No, it's not the case. It's not the case. I don't know if I'm touching a nerve or I'm ringing a tone.
Well, I think that is very true. And to be quite honest, if the truth has got to be said here, is that as much as Mnangagwa would want to give the impression that the nation will create prosperity from these handouts, the truth of the matter is the only a tiny fraction are ever reached by these donations. The rest of the country is living in abject poverty. So that is not the solution. But I think the point that ZANU PF is trying to make here is that it can coerce people into believing that Mnangagwa is got the solution. Ben,
no,
what do you think?
Can I say?
Yeah, Ben, I don't know whether you wanted to add something there.
Good day to you all. You know, I must say, I mean, Geza has been a thorn in Mnangagwa's side for a very, very long time. You know, is thwarting every move that Mnangagwa and his people are making. But, you know, when we turn to this whole million march, every time when I listen to Geza, it really does not convince me that this move is for the people. He has made it very difficult. He has made it impossible to use the word democracy in any of his statements. You know, he has kept the cards so close to his chest that it makes me think that, you know, like how my brother Timber was talking about what the people need. People need the basics. And without the basics, people are vulnerable to manipulation. We are looking everywhere and anywhere. And whoever gives us a false hope or any hope, we grab. That is a very, very dangerous position to be in. It's a very, very dangerous position to be in. Because we can easily be manipulated to do something that will never have a good ending for us. I mean, we've been here before. 2017 coup happened. We did the Million March. We danced, we sang, Daraucho. We were taking pictures with the soldiers. The same soldiers that shot us in August, a few months later. I think we need to be calculative. How do we then get something, you know, or, you know, how do we turn the tables to our own advantage? We know Geza needs the people. We are the people. We need to have some form of assurance that this thing is surely going to be ours at the end of the day. Because they have made it very clear. Chiwenga is the one that is going to take over, and you and I do not have anything to say about it. So why are we fighting? if we are not going to be given a say? That is my question. You want something, I should be
Can
able
I?
to give you something.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Temba.
I just want to answer the last stanza of his question of who are we? Who are we to fight? So, like, I think the question of who are we and the question of leaving it to the Lords for anyone else to decide, the answer is vague. It's so clear. So we are that. We are that gap that will cover that because we're not fighting, we're now fighting for our children. I'll speak for myself. I'll want one day my child to, as with her education, whatever, to be at a certain level. But now you can't if you do not know who. But I want to go into a society where merit counts. So if you say, who am I? And you dislodge your gun, not your gun, sorry, your fight, the battle is lost. The battle is lost. So you have lost the battle by saying, who am I? You are a citizen, and we are citizens, and we have got something to fight for. We've got a heritage to hold, we've got a culture to hold, and we've got names to withhold. So there's too much at stake. There is so much at stake. So that question of saying, who am I? It's like you preempting. You're saying, I give up. Yeah, I've got nothing to live for. There's so much. So what I'm saying in essence is we can't conclude the fight, but it's not, there's a lot of stake. There's a lot at stake. So that's the answer. There's a lot at stake. Personally, there's a lot of stake. Your little two children running around innocently, not knowing what's there tomorrow. So you go to work, whatever. There's a lot of stake. There's a lot of stake. So that's a partial answer I can give. I don't know if is that answered or it's not answered.
Well, I think one of the issues that I think people have raised in the past is, should they support the Geza revolution? And the answer, in my view, for many people, has been no, you can't, for the simple reason that the Geza revolution is not different from the 2017 military coup, which only removed one dictator only to replace him with another. And I think one of the things that Geza has said, even as far back as January, is that he wants VP Chiwenga to take over. And that has been his position. And many people have rightly asked, well, so what would have changed? If all we are doing is removing Mnangagwa and putting Chiwenga, because I think many people agree that Chiwenga is corrupt, incompetent, and a tyrant, just like our friend Mnangagwa. We cannot keep on repeating the same mistake of replacing one dictator with another. What we want to do is end the dictatorship and have a healthy and functioning democratic nation. That I think that is one of the key points why, as much as people have accepted what Geza has said, they cannot run with him. I'll just play a clip of that video where Geza was interviewed in January at the beginning of the so-called Geza revolution.
saka munowina sei imuchore wachinje
aiwaga ndira ndikutaurire imwe zvinhu zvinoitika hani ndiri kutokutaurira kuraudza kuti hatina kupusaka because ndiri kutokutaurira kuti tozviziva takapusaka ndisikakutauriri zvese we'll deal with this situation at the appropriate time but ndiri kutotaura kuti commander vaMnangagwa right navachiwenga handidi right ngavadissolve policy bureau tikwane isu varidzi vechunhu ngavadissolve cabinet inozinana kazembe vana soda vanani havambodzi kutaura vane kupaniwa vane kambamura vanani why do you hate your comrades kune mageneral kune maretired CIO vakawanda kune retired commissioners of police and other senior officers vakawanda havadiwe.
Maybe the president is looking at capacity and capability.
Bullshit. Vana grade 7 ane capacity and capability. Grade 7 oita busy yokwinzi nhasi aitwa minister of state mangwana provincial minister isiripo. We are not apologetic about it. Chinhu chedu ichi toda kutopinda ndoda kuti president vanipo zimota varipo chi ndoda mabodyguards ini.
But you've got your own cars. You've got a hotel at your house that you built in Sanyat. Why do you want all this?
I want to be rewarded as well, not to be used like a political condom all the time. I'm not a political condom. And urikona vana mahiya vaya vana vamwe.
I think that underlines the problem with Zimbabwe politics, where those who fought in the liberation war, most of them after 1980 firmly believe that they have the divine right to rule the country. And until that changes, I think we'll be going round and round in circles here. Ben, what do you think?
I mean, from his speeches and all his broadcasts, you can clearly see this is a ZANU PF thing. And we, the people, should know ZANU PF is our problem. We removed Mugabe and only put Mnangagwa. The ZANU PF problem did not go away. And you are very right to say ZANU PF thinks they are almighty. They are destined to rule, and you and I own and owe nothing to them. So again, you get to the question now to say, those that are saying, let us go with the Geza option. When Geza says, Chinu Chedu, where do you come into all this? And when he comes and he says, Chiwenga is going to rule, where is your choice in all this? And obviously, he's very clear. He's going to need to be rewarded. We've seen when Mugabe was ousted, people were rewarded. Where is our reward in all this? So my point is, in as much as we are desperate for change, sometimes taking no position is a very, very critical position. Let them fight. This is a fight between a black mamba and a cobra. Whoever wins there is not going to be a friend to us, the mice. So we might as well make hay while the sun still shines. I beg we cannot continue going back to, the same mistakes as if Zimbabweans are incapable of learning. We need to see the bigger picture. Yes, we are desperate. Yes, we want, to to secure the future of our children and their children's children. But some options that we are being made to choose, we will regret it after being used. We have been used on multiple occasions. Food for thought.
Chemba, what's your take on that one?
I'm amused. We're talking as if we've got choices. Which choices do we have? We don't even have choices as Zimbabweans. We don't have choices. It's just what is given to us. It's take it or leave it. We can't talk about the opposition. It's non-existent. So we don't have choices.
Well, I agree with you there. But at the present moment, if you look at the options on the table, it's either ZANU PF Mnangagwa with his ED2030 or Chwenga with his blessed Geza and company. But I think we need to think outside the box. Because if we think those are the only two choices before us, that is the mistake we are making.
I agree, and I'm 100% with your side that the choices we have are non-starters at all, because it's the script is written. It's written on the wall. It's the same script that will be repeated, given another 20 years. It's the same. There is nothing so different. It's just a face that's changing. Like we came from Kabe and we went to Mnangagwa. Whoever we go will use the same script. The script is the same. So the big question is, how do you change the script? How do you change the script? And I would love to be more practical and realistic. Is the script changeable or not? That's my question.
I think the script is changeable. There is nothing written in our
on stone.
Our fate as a nation that we must be ruled by ZANU PF. The problem we have is we tend to look for easy, quick solutions. At the present moment, most people are seeing as, oh, well, we have no effective opposition, and therefore then we must pick either to go with Geza or Mnangagwa. That is the easy option. The real challenge here is to stand up and say to both of them that that is not a solution. And I think.
And what's the contingency? What's the contingency if we discard both of them? What's the contingency? And then we say both no, non-existent. What's on standby? Practical.
Temba, let's agree to disagree on this one here. My question to you is, do you believe we had an opportunity or opportunities to end this ZANU PF dictatorship in the past 25 years?
Yes, there was.
And
when there was a coalition government, that was the opportunity.
And most recently, in 2023, we had another chance.
Yes, so
but our opposition are and were so greedy. They defined what
like
and AU and everybody had done. So we cannot say we don't have options. We have options, but our options may be limited. But then let's look at it again.
But options are there.
Yes. So it is now for us as people to make the right choice. What do we need to fix? Do we need to get rid of Mugabe so that we just get rid of Mugabe and not solve the problem? Do we need to get rid of Mnangagwa and we do not solve the problem? Do we need to choose Chwenga? We will not solve the problem. because the problem is the ZANU mentality. Geza is right there and is telling you the ZANU mentality. Chinu chedu.
Like, can I say something? Can I say something?
This, you see, he's not talking about you and me. He's never even mentioned you and me. So how does it become our fight?
It's always our fight.
Yeah, but a lot of people are taking that position to say Geza Chiwenga is now the saint of
Those people. Can I say something?
Yeah,
Can I say something? You see, Geza and Chiwenga, the next 10 years, they won't be there. They are old. They're going soon. I'm telling you, it's guaranteed. It's fact. Life will swallow. Life gives, life takes. So, like I told, the script is ZANU PF. ZANU PF is the script. So let's not concentrate on individuals and say who. Those, they're going soon. Geza, you can see. He's talking, he wants bodyguards for what? He's going soon. But the script, I don't know if you understand the script. The script is ZANU PF. So how do we change the script? Not individuals. Leave Mnangagwa alone. Wherever, even if he wants to get to 2030, let him get there. But the script.
Yeah, I think, Temba, you're saying exactly what I'm saying. I am saying that we should be looking at ending the dictatorship and not replacing.
Yes, that's the script.
Yeah, no, let me finish the point. Not be replacing one dictator with another. And I agree with you. As much as that may be the individual, it really doesn't matter. It's just the figurehead of the regime. As long as it's a dictatorship, you will still have the same script, as you call it. So the issue here is to change the script, as you call it. And I think that's where Ben was coming in as well, that we had the opportunity to change the script and we missed it. So as far as that point is concerned, they've got to go back and say, what did we do wrong then? Why did we fail to change the script?
I think you got it spot on, because if we can talk about the Geza and the Chiwengas, they will be gone in 10 years, but the script within ZANU PF is they think they have the divine right. The new guys will come. These youngsters that are coming, they will want to continue. So,
but what's their ethos now? The Gezas are talking about the liberation struggle. The Gezas are saying we fought war. What will they say? That's the $1 million question. The Gezas will say we brought Zimbabwe to fruition. We fought. Mnangagwa will say we were underground.
They'll simply say our fathers and our grandfathers did it for us. We have the divine right.
My question is, if the script is handed to the next, what's his mandate? Like, what's he holding on to? Because there's no more liberation struggle. There's no more liberation struggle. Because once you are below 50, you did not fight the war.
Look,
it's simple, plain that. Because the script of ZANU PF is the war of liberation. So that's their ethos that they hold on to. But the generations are moving. What are they saying they'll say? Because for you to get an electorate, you have to tell a story. What will be their story? I'm curious to know. What will the
45 years after independence, we're still talking about Chimboy. I mean,
that's what it is.
You got to be reasonable. Mike Tyson fought and he was a world champion. Today, he cannot continue saying, I will be world champion. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
life moves on, time changes everything. We are very grateful for what you did, but then you cannot now hold it up against us to say, I vote, I must do. You no longer celebrated. You are now a thorn in everybody's flesh. This is where ZANU PF went wrong from the very beginning. They thought they had the divine right to rule, and yet history and they themselves agree that they did not fight together. The people of Zimbabwe fought, right? So here
So
we cannot keep on saying, because the script will not change. I'm a father of, I'm a son of a war veteran. I will simply say, I lost my father, so I'm supposed to rule as well. And my father missed out a lot of things because my grandfather died at war. I should be, it will never change. ZANU PF thinks they have the divine right to rule, and that narrative
but
is
like,
wrong.
can I say something? Can I ask rather? I want to say, what's their next script? It's just now, like I'm saying, even 2028. What's their motto? Because the people on the ground, they are my age. They can't claim more. What are they claiming?
I can rest assure you that to justify oppression is easy. You will always have an excuse. One of the reasons why the likes of Kasukuwere, for instance, were so adamant in supporting ZANU PF is that they believe they have the right solution. And as the party that liberated the country, they inherited that mantra, and they've got to carry it through. And the opposition are what you call it, puppets of the West. They want to give away all that we won. They will always have an excuse, and I think it is if you look at other countries like Kenya, for instance, that gained their independence a long time ago. The ruling party in Kenya still is dominated by those who have got connections with the liberation. South Africa is the same thing. ANC is hanging on to the history that we were the party of the liberation. Some of them may be going into second generation and so forth. The justification for oppression cannot be, it is dynamic. It will change. They will not say, I carried the gun of liberation. No. They'll still say, I'm still representing the goodwill of the people, the development of the country, etc., etc. And I think one other thing that I can tell you, Temba, is one of the problems that we have in Zimbabwe particularly is the fact that the ruling elite are getting incredibly rich. And they will use that wealth to undermine democratic processes. So that a person like you and me, you try to stand in an election against them. Along comes Chifayo with his hundreds of thousands, and you'll buy off the support for your rival, not because of merit, but because he has got the money, and because that individual is willing to do the bidding of the likes of Chifayo. That is what is one of the things that have distorted our political system. You cannot deny that people like him, they have got enormous influence.
They do have influence, and vastly so. I will agree with you. But there are people with Not everybody is corruptible. And that's one mistake ZANU PF is thinking. They think they can corrupt every soul. I'm telling you, that's a mistake. Yes, it will take longer, it will be derailed, but not everyone is corruptible. What I'm saying in essence is there's still people who want good from a nation, a lot of people to benefit. I can't have 100 million US dollars myself and be satisfied. And as much as it is a figure, maybe I'm talking from a poor man's perspective, but people's drive is different. Like I told you, people want the basics. People, you'll discover that a larger, out of 16 million Zimbabwean, you'll discover that 14 million want the basics and 2 million want flamboyance. I'm telling you now. People just want to put food on the table. Maybe I'm talking from a poor man's perspective, but I think it's something that's vibrant. People want the basics. You want to go to work and leave and pay school fees and at least relax after you get to a certain age. That's aspiration.
Okay, Temba, can I put you on the spot? You say
Yes.
that not everyone is corruptible. Who do you know where somebody has dangled money in front of them and they've said no?
I'll say none.
Sorry, nobody is.
Yes.
Okay. So there you are.
Yes.
If you're looking at particularly those in positions of power and authority, most of them at best, they have remained silent.
Well, can I say something? My point is, they can go with you. You're dangling money, but behind the scenes, if there's a vote, they'll vote against you. And then you use that same money to divert a vote. But deep inside, I'll say yes. You are right. But deep inside, I know you are wrong. And then I will lead you on and do the opposite.
Yeah.
I, for one, can do that.
Yeah, no, Temba, you can do that. But the problem we have here is the election process themselves are corrupt. Yeah.
Yes.
What you do in the urban areas, as much as you may want to stop the ZANU PF machinery going ahead, is immaterial because ZANU PF has got inbuilt majority because of the corruption. And that is at the heart of the problem. So in this particular case, particularly when ZANU PF has successfully corrupted the police, ZEC, the judiciary, and all the other institutions, including the opposition.
And that's how deep it is.
Yeah, I mean, you can't change the system at the present moment because of that. One of the things that Ben was trying to refer to earlier on was this issue of if you are told that the process is corrupt, but you have been corrupted yourself to the point where you keep on participating, yeah, it becomes a problem then. Because you are the one who is giving the process legitimacy, because you, the opposition, have been corrupted. So that is why we find ourselves going round and round in circles here. We had the opportunity to implement reforms. We had the opportunity, as Ben was referring to, in 2023, when we said, well, do not participate in a flawed process because it's so flawed, you cannot change it. But if you participate, you give it legitimacy. And the opposition went ahead and participated. How else can you stop it?
So what you're saying in essence, there's no prognosis for this.
No, there is.
No, there is. So, look, you've raised something that is very, very, important to say. The academics, the so-called learned people, should stand up against dictators and stand up against the ordinary person that I believe most of them know no better. But, like the case of Zimbabwe is very unique in the sense that you find that the so-called fundis, the so-called intellectuals, are the ones that are following the dumb and dumber. And that is the truth. I'll take it to a point where there was one character called Yoka Mabunu. He kept on ranting about Mnangagwa's corruption and all sorts of things, and he was talking about Chiwenga, and he's going to, make them runaways, legendary, and everybody supported the guy. So now you are finding out that in Zimbabwe we have a problem where our so-called learned forces are following the Dharma and Dharma, like I said. So when you have that kind of situation, it becomes very, very impossible to get yourself, unentangled. We are a classic case of a case study of things gone wrong and things gone upside down, where you would have thought it is the intellectuals that should be teaching those that are less fortunate in terms of knowledge wise. But you're finding they are the ones that are being conned. A lot of fundis followed Mugabe and Mnangagwa and believed what Mugabe was selling. Zimbabwe is open for business. They believed. And they do sang Darawacho Achauya. Yet it was clear as daylight. Mnangagwa never had a plan to end corruption. He never had a plan to change Zimbabwe for the better, because you could see during his speech he was benchmarking from Mugabe's era instead of independence. So we have a problem where we cannot then, it's a unique case where our so-called technocrats are being led by, the unknowledgeable. So how do you then go and get yourself out of a situation when you are in such a position? Because Zimbabwe is not short of opportunities to get out of this mess. We're talking about the 2023 election, where SADC came out guns blazing and condemned the process. It is those lawyers, it is those human rights activists that took up positions to give legitimacy to ZANU PF and perpetuate the suffering today.
Let me refocus this discussion again. In your opinion, should Zimbabweans come out in this 1 million men march on the 17th of October? That's next Friday. And if you think the answer is yes, I'll ask, why do you think that would be a wise idea? Shall we start with you, Temba?
Come again, I just went out.
Sorry. We wanted to refocus on this 1 million men march on 17th of October. in your opinion, should people heed Geza's call and come out?
In my opinion,
Yeah.
you want my honest opinion?
Yes.
I'll have an opinion of our discussion so far. According to the Bible, our discussion is just lamentations. We're just crying that they're so cold. So what I'm saying in essence is, let's stop crying first, and then we'll answer that question. The moment we stop crying, and yes, we know the problems are there. We know ZANU PF in and out. There's no need. So the moment, let's stop crying first, and then be sober-minded, and then wipe our tears off, and then soberly decide.
Get away with this one. Next Friday, people want to know whether they should go out in support of that march or not.
If I was there, I would.
I'm asking you, should I go out? What are you going to tell them?
It's quite hard. Yeah, it's quite hard. But what I'll tell them, I'm not a person. I'll speak for myself. You
would be able to take the stand. This is what you are saying to others, that people should stand. You cannot be neither here or there. Are you going to do it? And why?
Why I'm saying, to be honest, I can't. I just knew it. I just knew of this now. I follow news a lot. I haven't been following it to the tip, but I would go. I would go out because there's a lot at stake. Just the simple fact that there's a lot at stake.
Okay.
I would go there. As much as I don't support entirely, I would go out.
Okay. My argument, my question to you is, how would that be any different from what people did in November 2017?
Let's repeat that script. I'll rather repeat a script. Maybe the outcome will be different, rather than staying dormant.
Okay.
Because once I stay dormant, I won't change anything. Maybe the script will be different. I can't see the.
Fair enough. Ben, what do you think? Would you advise people to go out or not?
I don't think it's a very good idea. I wouldn't do it. My reason is very simple. Let's address the real problem that Zimbabwe is facing. The real problem is Zimbabwe has failed to deliver on free, fair, and credible elections. That's number one problem. Hence, you cannot expect, if you cannot deliver free, fair, and credible elections, you cannot deliver on accountability from your leaders. You cannot deliver on traceability. In short, you've got bad governance. And bad governance obviously carries the corruption. So corruption at the present moment is a secondary problem. The primary problem is we do not have a government that is led, that was chosen by the people and for the people. And we have been given, why Zimbabweans fail to understand that half the work is done for us. We have been given on a silver platter what needs to be done. We don't have to look for it. We don't have to think outside the box. It's been given, and it has always been there for the past 25 plus years. We have been given recommendations. Those are good enough as reforms to fix how we choose our leaders, how the day plays out. And we, including the opposition, the people, and ZANU PF, have failed to even implement one of those recommendations. So the script will not change because nothing has changed on how the script was written. ZANU PF will rig elections. The opposition will participate. The people of Zimbabwe will participate with the opposition and cry the very next day. And the cycle continues and on and on and on. So we can march as much as we want. But are we fixing the problem? No. The problem, and the real problem, is our failure to hold free, fair, and credible elections such that we get accountability from our leaders. We can be able to have that power to say, no, 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 you are not for us. Please go away. Then we look for another competent individual to carry on. We do not have that. And that is what we need to fight for us to end this. We can march as much as we want. There is nothing that is going to change, that is going to come out of this. And besides, we are marching for one ZANU PF individual to come out and the other one to go in. The same story.
Thank you, Ben. Just like to remind our listeners out there that if you want to post your questions, post them on the comments, and we'll read them and try to address them. If you want to join the discussion, the link is being shown at the bottom of the screen there. All you need to do is copy it and go on your internet, and you'll be able to come on the screen. My answer to this problem is, if I was in Zimbabwe, would I join the 1 million men march? The answer is no, I would not. For the simple reason that that could be misconstrued as supporting the so-called Geza revolution, because I don't support it. We made the same mistake in 2017 when we supported the military coup. Because once you've supported them, they will have the confidence to think they have the right to rule too. And we cannot keep on repeating this same mistake of swapping one dictator for another. The alternative option I'll recommend is for those who have got the chance to stay at home, stay at home. Because if there was to be a march, the chances are the regime will react in its usual way and use violence. And you do not want to be caught in that violence. So if you can stay at home, stay at home. But meanwhile, I think it is important that Zimbabweans should start articulating the way forward. And they should be emphasizing that what we want in Zimbabwe is an end to the dictatorship. We want an end to this culture that says ZANU PF has the divine right to rule, because no one has the divine right to rule the country. We want a political system that allows all Zimbabweans to have a meaningful say in the governance of the country. And until we sort that one out, we'll be going round and round in circles. And after 45 years and counting of independence, we are failing to hold free, fair, and credible elections. That is something that we should all be ashamed of as a nation. And the main reason for it is that many people out there still do not understand what constitutes free, fair, and credible elections. Ignorance has been our biggest problem. ZANU PF has only taken advantage of it. MDC have also taken advantage of it. We need to address the problem of ignorance. We should know what constitutes free, fair, and credible elections by now. And we should be able to insist on it. And we should be able to tell people like Blessed Geza that what he's offering here is not a solution. He was the one in an earlier video who admitted that he was behind the 2017 military coup and was happy with it. It replaced one dictator with another. All he's fighting for here is that he and a few of his friends have lost their seats on the gravy train, and they are now saying Mnangagwa must go because they also want to occupy those seats. As far as the ordinary person is concerned, nothing has changed. No one has the divine right to rule the country. That should be at the heart of our political discourse. And we should insist that everyone from now on has that on their agenda. We don't want any meaningful discussions, meaningless discussions on those issues. There are some issues that should not be discussed. The right to a meaningful say in the governance of the country should be non-negotiable. Ben, are you still there? Ben, are you still there? Okay, we seem to be having some technical problems with some of our people. I think we've also dropped out Temba. But I think that is the main problem that we have in Zimbabwe. We have never, even ZANU PF itself, they've paid lip service to free, fair, and credible elections, to the right of all Zimbabweans to have a meaningful say. And this has been the main problem why we've gone round and round in circles. Ben, can you hear me now? Okay, I don't know why we are having those problems. Okay, Temba, I think you're back now.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. This must be your internet.
Yeah, it's my device.
Sorry?
It was my device. Yeah, I'm back now.
All right, okay. I don't know whether you wanted to say something further to the discussion, the issues that we raised there.
What was the last stanza?
Well, my position on this issue of whether or not people should go.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and that's very valid. That's very valid, and it will be like, how do I put it in the way? I don't know if you understand that. Once you've got mud, it will say you drank the water. So you'll be complacent of what's happening. So the best advice is stay at home if you are able to. That's my 2 cents. Tell them.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Actually, there's a show like equivalent of that. Yeah, Tsikam Cheche, I think that's the same adage you were trying to say there. I totally agree with you. If you go and join the march, Geza and company will take that as an endorsement of they are popular and you support them. And once they've taken that, they will run with it just as they did in 2017.
Yes.
Because that gave Mnangagwa and Chiwenga the confidence to believe that the people, that is what they wanted. And they got into power. They promised actually that there was going to be a GNU. They abandoned that because they thought they had the mandate of the people. And that got us stuck. So that is a problem. Ben, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Sorry about that. I noticed you were dropping out as well.
Yeah, some technical issues. You know, I would want to address my brother Mishek here, who says we mustn't defend the Constitution. You know, I believe every citizen out there should defend the Constitution. I mean, that is a sacred document for every Zimbabwe. But my question would be, why would you want to defend the Constitution against, corruption and do absolutely nothing about rigged elections? Why are we not defending the primary reason why we are in this mess? Because if we cannot stop ZANU PF getting away with rigging elections, there is absolutely no way we can stop corruption, because they feel they are entitled. Our problem is not just corruption. Corruption is a symptom. You know, Oliver Mtukudzi had a song that, Chichaita Musoro Uteme. What is the source of the problem? Your head just does not ache without an underlying problem. We cannot stop corruption without first addressing the real problem. And I think the moment we fix that, everything else will fall into place. Kwame Nkrumah said, seek ye first the political kingdom, and the rest, which is the economic, social, will fall into place. Here, we are going into a march. Yes, corruption is there. Corruption is very much rampant. It has reached, unprecedented levels under, Mnangagwa's time. But why is it? Because they have gotten away with rigged elections, and because they know we as people will continue participating in rigged elections, knowing fully well that ZANU PF will rig. So we really don't have the power that we think we have. You can march all you want. I don't think it will solve any problem at all.
Temba, do you have anything to add to Mishek's comment there?
I concur. I concur with what he's saying vividly. Like, let's not brush. Let's not So what he's saying, let's go straight to the point. The point is, let's have solutions on how to deal with the headache. That's all. I think we all know the headache. We don't want to speak in riddles. We know the headache. What's the cause of the we can't meander and say, it's my toe. No, the head is aching. So meaning that we've got an issue with leadership fundamentally so. Fundamentally, even the same leaders will be there. They're not even proud to stand and talk because they are so corrupt. So standing in front and saying anything is just vile. So meaning we've got a leadership problem. So we're still raising our children to be corrupt. People can think corruption is found on the echelons of society. No, corruption is everyday living. What you do, what you get away with, and find it right. And there's nothing that touches you. So we can go to the top leadership, but I think let's introspect. Let's look at ourselves. As much as we can condemn our leaders, are we worthy to lead our families? Let's start from the grassroots, because we jump those stages. We jump family, you jump yourself, you jump everybody else and go and point a finger saying there is corruption. But corruption is everyday living. If as Zimbabweans, we create a culture of non-corruption, it is possible to attain it. We are so corrupt ourselves, but we've got the nerve in saying, ningari corrupt. So I think it's, as Zimbabweans, we should take a paradigm shift and look at ourselves personally, and then it will transcend. It will be a chain reaction. I can assure that. So as much as we know that leadership is so influential, what are you doing? Just basically, are you breaking the law every day, and it's normal? Because in Zimbabwe, madiri are normal. Madiri and we've created a culture that totswaga mari, but are you like legitimately? That's the deeper questions. You will go to say, hey, and say, go and blame the bigger one. But at the grassroots, I'll call it grassroots, in your community, are you effective? Because let's not hold the mic and say and point fingers. And I think let's start as individuals. I'm telling you, be a leader in your family and then say no to corruption. It will go. It will take time, yes. But what you guys want now is a drastic change. That's a fantasy. Things won't change drastically. It's a fantasy. So corruption is the cancer. So let's get rid of corruption from the grassroots and then up. And then I believe our actions will tell, because we all know right and wrong. We all know right and wrong. But what's the solution? We need leaders. We cannot do. Let us first identify leaders who are capable. There are a lot of capable leaders there in Zimbabwe, I'm telling you, who can. So when you cast a vote, are you voting for an individual or you're voting for a party? Why are you putting him in that position? Are you casting lots? We can't cast lots with the future of Zimbabwe. That's what I can say. We can't keep casting lots saying, there will be reform, there's no reform. Let's be decisive. So if there's no reform, let's not just vote. Just stay at home. Abscond. Just keep your vote at home. And then
My comment on Mishek's comment there that we're not going to defend the Constitution, I think he was referring to the issue of Mnangagwa, this ED2030. Because if Mnangagwa is going to stay on till 2030, then you will have violated the Constitution that says you should stay in office maximum 2 terms. And this end of his second term is 2028. I think, Mishek, what you've got to understand here is as much as you think you are defending the Constitution, you are only defending one aspect of that Constitution. Because one of the other big, in my opinion, aspect of the Constitution is that you should have free, fair, and credible elections. And Zimbabwe has failed to hold free, fair, and credible elections ever since our independence, in fact. And if you were to stand up and run with Geza, they are only interested in defending one aspect of it. And it just so happened that that aspect coincides with their own selfish interest. Geza has never made it a secret that he is against Mnangagwa staying until 2030, not on principle, but because that is stopping Chiwenga getting into power. And that is what he wants. As much as Chiwenga can say he's defending the Constitution, the truth of the matter is he is a hypocrite. In 2017, we all remember him waving the Constitution, saying he's defending the Constitution. I can tell you now that there is no section in that Constitution that says the coup is legal. None. Some of you may have heard the judgment of Justice George Chiweshe, where he was saying the coup was justified, legal, and constitutional. He was very clever enough never to say what section of the Constitution said that, because there's none. And remember, he is the same man who was saying the coup of 2017 was to end corruption. And we all know that corruption got even worse under Mnangagwa. So we should be very careful that we do not get pulled in and think we are defending the Constitution when it just so happens that the individuals we are dealing with here, they see one aspect of the Constitution which is standing in their own way. And they want now to appear as if they are the champions of the Constitution. They are not. Chiwenga was not elected, just as much as Mnangagwa himself was not elected into the present position in a free, fair, and credible election. That's a serious violation of the Constitution. Why did he fail to stand up on that one? Chiwenga himself is on record saying that he was going to crush the opposition like lice. That is an outrage. He is not a Democrat. He never was a Democrat. And I think we should be very careful that we do not allow ourselves to be conned into believing what we want. They will tell us what we want to hear. And we believe them. That is one of the problems with Zimbabweans. We have been easy to con. And I think that is something that we've got to solve. We are not solving anything here by participating or going along with this Geza revolution, because it's only interested in getting Chiwenga into power, removing one dictator to put another. That is not the solution. We should reject it emphatically and make sure that we do not make the mistake of being misunderstood by joining that so-called march and be told that we supported them, when in fact we did not. That is my message. Ben, do you want to give your closing remarks?
I would want to go back to all the presentations, the live broadcast that Geza did. At no point did he ever mention about free, fair, and credible elections. At no point did he mention about the people choosing a leader that is by the people and for the people. What he has said, and I don't think we need to be reminded. We know, but we are choosing to distort the facts. He says, "Chinu chedu ichi ndodawo kuti ndipuwe simota iri, ndodawo mabodyguard." See, everything is about self. And let's remind, this is corruption as well. We are seeing ZANU PF buying cars to bribe and so forth. Geza wants to use bribe as well. And he's the guy that is saying, let us go and stop corruption. I'm really not a fundi, but 1 + 1 is simple 2. This guy is corrupt. And this guy has made it and made sure that at the end of the day, this becomes a ZANU PF thing. And the ZANU PF will continue thereafter. Just a change of leadership, like what we did in 2017. So my question to everybody that thinks that we are solving a problem, yet we all know what the problem is. The problem is ZANU PF itself, what they believe in, that they believe they have the divine right to rule Zimbabwe until the donkeys come back home, or until, how they say, Madogame Ranyanga. There is nothing for us here. We as mice, we are being asked to choose between a cobra and a black mamba. Whoever wins the fight will equally be just as deadly to the people. Chiwenga, I can remind you of the same guy that fired all nurses because they wanted a fair wage. He fired them all. How then has he become a saint overnight? You see, we need to ask ourselves the real question. What is the problem with Zimbabwe? How do we get ourselves out of this mess permanently? And the real reason and the answer to this is that once we start having free, fair, and credible elections, and the people restore their power to choose leaders that are for the people and by the people, we become custodians of our own future. Right now, ZANU PF owns and runs the show, and they are making sure that you participate in what they want and endorse what they want. And trust me, Chiwenga will be a bigger thorn in the flesh because he himself has proven that he is corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical. Choice is ours. Each and every one of us has a choice. Do we then go and join this march just to help another ZANU PF faction to beat the other one and still perpetuate our suffering? The suffering will go on because it is ZANU PF, and ZANU PF is a problem. I would say, unless they give us back the power to go back and find democracy where we choose our own leaders, let them crush each other until whenever. It's their battle, got nothing to do with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. I'd just like to remind the listeners out there that you can join us on the discussion by using the link that's on your screen right now. We'll be using the same link every Saturday. So even if you are not able to join us today, in future, if you use the same, you copy down the same link, you'll be able to get hold of us. Temba, do you want to have your final say?
Yes, no, I totally agree with what was said by the previous speaker, that it's just people we can't fight people's battles. Let them fight their battles. Let's not fight for them. And we've got a bigger fight. The bigger fight is society. Like I said, I'll reiterate that let's start from the grassroots. We know what leadership we want. Everybody knows what leadership we want, not the leadership of corruption, because once you select leadership, that does not reflect society. So meaning, but still, we still have to come to free and fair elections. But before that, I think we've got a model of leadership that will pursue our interests, and a people-based person, because everybody, like right now, is so personal. Like what Geza said, I also want I. The moment you put the I, there's no selflessness. So I think let's look at leadership. There is no leadership, because once, as I said, it has shifted everything. So I started not being firm of my stance. You asked a question, like I said, I'm not well versed, but now after the discussions and after pondering, no, I wouldn't. I don't know if you allow me to change posts. I wouldn't fight a corrupt battle, because everything it's got a stench smell of corruption. Because once everything says, I also want bodyguards, political condom. So there is already a vendetta that has got nothing to do with the masses. So I think we should learn discernment as people. Let's discern. We can't see through an individual, but let's have that element of discerning our leaders and scrutinizing and getting to a level that we can see that, yes, you can't be perfect, but you will get some mileage. Let's get mileage. What's our mileage? The mileage is free and fair elections. Let's will Geza pursue free and fair elections? Even the lamest of men will say no. You don't need to be intelligent to assess and discern the output, the outcome. Is just corrupt, and as old as he is still not people oriented. So that's the sad piece of event. we are facing. So as much as it is lamentations, we are crying continuously, the flicker of light is in our next choices. Let's at least discern. Everybody has got the capacity of discerning the right or wrong. Let's discern characters. Let's ashluzeni, like man sit ashluzeni, like let's purify from that platform. Sibone ukuthi kuhluzekile okanye lulaza lodwa. Like what I'm saying in essence, is this pure or it's rubbish? So let's see rubbish, and this is rubbish. Like I'm telling you, this is absolute rubbish because it's a personal vendetta. Once you are personal, it nullifies. You can't be personal and claim to represent 10 million people. No, it's a no-no. So what I'm saying is, yeah, as simple as that.
Thank you very much, Temba. I think what most people should appreciate here is that ZANU PF is corrupt to the core. And what blessed Bombshell Geza said is no different from what our friend here, I'm sure many people will remember him, Holy Ten, said. He was only pointing out the truth that we all know. In the case of Blessed Geza, he was pointing out that this whole issue of Mnangagwa staying on in power until 2030 is bullshit. The whole argument that he is going to deliver development, Mnangagwa himself is illegitimate. ZANU PF and Mnangagwa rigged 2023 elections. SADC and the AU condemned the election process as flawed. He's illegitimate. And now he wants to extend his stay in power, illegitimate as it is, beyond what the Constitution says. There is arrogance for you. And so when Geza said it's bullshit, he was only saying that what many people knew in their own minds, but did not say. We should not be fooled by Geza, however, into believing that he is offering anything different. He is not. Like Holy Ten, he was only pointing out something that we already know. I am hoping that Zimbabwe will maintain the pressure as much as Geza has given us another opening to discuss the various issues, the political problems in the country. We should maintain our position that the number one priority for Zimbabwe is to end the ZANU PF dictatorship and replace it with a healthy and functioning democratic system of government. We should not be moved from that. We should not compromise that. We should maintain that position and stand firm and not be easily sucked in by people promising that they are standing against a constitution, when in reality they are only standing against one aspect of the constitution, which so happen to be compromising their own selfish needs. And they want us to join them and pretend that they are champions of the constitution, when in reality they are not. We should not fall for that. Think about it. And I would like to remind everybody again that we'll have another open discussion next Saturday, same time, 7 o'clock UK time, 8 o'clock Zimbabwean time. I hope you'll be able to join us. And to the two gentlemen, Temba and Ben, thanks for joining us tonight. I hope we'll see you again next week.